We need to learn how to avoid certain pitfalls and even disasters in life. I spent over 25 years as a semi truck driver, and it was always at night. The semi I pulled had two trailers, and you can imagine driving during bad weather, what that must have been like. It wasn't easy. While I lived in Wisconsin, I kept a small calendar journal throughout the year, and I would write the conditions of the weather and what types of driving conditions I had, and I was up against blizzards and whiteouts and fog so thick you couldn't see the end of the truck. I remember one particular day during it was in the winter, but in Wisconsin, if it warms up, it also rains while it's still winter. And then you have ice on the road with water on top. So anyways, I'm driving along at night with my semi-truck with two trailers behind me. It's raining out, there's ice on the road, and you're lucky if you can do 15 miles an hour and stay on the road. And as you're leaving one highway to go on to the next highway, you got that cloverleaf loop. And the cloverleaf loop is banked a little bit. You hit that loop about 10 miles an hour. I look in my rearview mirror, and that back trailer is a 90-degree angle, and I'm forming a giant L going down the highway. If I would have stopped, that back trailer would have pulled my whole rig into the ditch, and I would have been stranded. I do believe my fingerprints are still on those steering wheels of the tractors. Most nights are not that hair-raising, but no one ever remembers the easy days. And at the end of my comments for the day, I always thank Father Yahweh. I thank Father Yahweh for getting me home safe, but shaken during the bad days, and even I thanked him for getting me home on the good days. Even those nights where I was having trouble staying awake, I heard my name called out. I'm the only one in the tractor. And yet I heard someone holler, "Frank." Yahweh has looked after me all those years, and I thank him. Was it Yahweh who saved me, or was it me who saved me? I'd like to give myself some credit, but really, I think it was Yahweh who saved me. I think he suddenly woke me or kept my truck on the road, or maybe it was an angel that didn't like driving with me. I think it was Yahweh who gave me the quick thought to drive in those times of very bad weather. And it was Yahweh who kept me awake from falling asleep all those years. Don't you think it's better I give Yahweh the thanks and credit for saving me rather than taking it for myself? In 1 Corinthians 10:31 it says, "Whether therefore you eat or drink or whatsoever you do, do all to the glory of Yahweh." So if you're saved from an accident, you should glorify Yahweh by giving him the credit and the praise. In 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 18, "In everything give thanks, for this is the will of Yahweh and Messiah Yeshua concerning you." Give thanks and praise in all circumstances, in the good days including the not so good days and the scary circumstances. Life is full of difficult and or disastrous situations. Or situations that could be disastrous. It's not just car accidents or mishaps. It's people relationships and many other things like health. Some people's relationships fall apart and become a big disaster, and thus Yahweh somehow intervenes. We need to look to Yahweh always. We need his wisdom and counsel always. We need his protection and security in life always. He's bigger than life itself and bigger than us. He's the only one who can save us, protect us, and make us secure in our life in eternity. Matthew 11, verse 28. Come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Learn of me. For I am meek and lowly in heart, and you shall find rest unto your souls. He will give you even more than rest. He will give us wisdom, discernment, strength, and grace. In Hebrews 4, verse 15, for we have not a high priest which cannot be touched with the feelings of our infirmities, but was in all points tempted as we are, yet without sin. Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. Paul was advising Titus on how to avoid certain troubles in life, and by looking at Yahweh and listening to his word. You have to avoid various things in life, and you avoid trouble. Avoid religious arguments. Avoid selfishness. Titus 3 verse 9 says, but avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and striving about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. A man that is a heretic after the first and second admonition reject, knowing that he that is such is subverted and sinned, being condemned of himself. You find these people all over on the internet. Oh, they're good at it. You can't tell them nothing. They are right, you are wrong. Nothing you can do. You argue all day long and you're not going to get anywhere. Avoid it. Religion and politics. Which do you think causes the most arguments? Considering our present political situation, probably politics right now. We're almost into a voting cycle. I think the humorist Will Rogers would have had a heyday today if he was alive. He would have more political jokes than you could shake a stick at. He was in some ways a prophet before his time. And while he would be making jokes, he might be crying inside because of the shape of our country. Religious arguments, have you ever had any? I've had, and some of them I'm not really proud of, because after it's all over, I felt like I hadn't done a good job. Most religious arguments are unprofitable and useless. They are a waste of time and energy, and often people are put off from the truth of the gospel. Or they just refuse to listen because their lifestyle does not match up with what Yahweh's lifestyle is. James chapter 1 verse 19, wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man works not the righteousness of Yahweh. Wherefore, lay apart all filthiness and superfluity and of naughtiness, and receive the meekness and engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. Getting angry, even religious angry, generally does no good in this world. Anger often becomes to open the door to Satan. I just read an article on the internet. The atheist group lost a court case about the Ten Commandments being posted in front of some state building, so they took their car and ran over the monument and broke it. Ephesians 4 verse 26 says, be you angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Neither give place to the devil. Only let your conversations be as it becomes the gospel of Messiah, that whether I come and see you or be absent, I may hear of your affairs, that you stand fast in one spirit, with one mind, striving together for the faith of the gospel. We are to contend for the faith of the gospel. To contend is to fight for the faith of the gospel, but that doesn't mean that we should literally fight with people. It does no good at all. 1 Peter 3:15 says, "But sanctify Yahweh Elohim in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asks you a reason for the hope that is in you, with meekness and fear." Why do you use his name? Why do you go to Sabbath on this wrong day, supposedly? Why do you believe this, or why do you believe that? You should be able to answer that. Now, we're honest in contending for the faith. We must be gentle with people and respect towards them. If we don't show courtesy, kindness, and love, how can we expect to do any good? A man by the name of Maxwell Perkins, he's a famous book editor, once wrote, "One of my deepest convictions is that the terrible harms that are done in the world are not done by deliberately evil people, who are not numerous and are soon found out. They are done by good, those who are sure that God is with them. Nothing can stop them, for they are certain that they are right." Titus 3:10 says, "A man that is a heretic after the first and second admonition reject, knowing that he is such is subverted in sins and being condemned of himself." Warn a heretic. Sounds to me like if someone is causing trouble in the church to the point where there could be a division, that person should be warned. Once, twice, and third time you're out. That is, we leave them alone and hope that they will wake up. No one enjoys warning others, but there are times when it must be done. Generally, I would think the job would be left for the elders and the leaders of a church. In Hebrews 13:17, it says, "Obey them that have rule over you. Submit yourselves, for they watch for your soul as they that must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable to you." Titus 3:13 says, "Bring Zenas the lawyer and Apollos on their journey diligently, that nothing be wanting unto them. And let ours also learn to maintain good works for necessary uses, that they be not unfruitful. All that are with me salute thee. Greet them with that love us in the faith. Grace be with you all. Amen." Now, this was written to Titus, ordained as the first bishop of the church of Cretan from Nicopolis of Macedonia. A preacher by the name of John Wesley in the 1700s is quoted as saying this: "Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can." That covers a lot of territory. I would say that it's a pretty good code to live by, and it also sounds like Yeshua. Acts 10, verse 38 says, "How Yahweh anointed Yeshua of Nazareth by the Holy Spirit with the power, who went about doing good, healing all that were oppressed of the devil, for Yahweh was with him." Yeshua went about doing good, all kinds of good. Providing food, teaching Yahweh's word, healing from diseases, casting out demons. We need to do the same, although we're somewhat limited in comparison to Yeshua. I don't know of anyone who has healed those who were under the power of the devil, but I've heard that there are those who claim to cast them out. The only way any of us could do that is by leading people to faith in Messiah. And when they surrender their lives to Messiah, then they will indeed be healed from the devil. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if any man be in Messiah, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things have become new. Beyond casting out demons or healing people who are under the power of the devil, what can we do? What must we do? Anything we can. Teach, preach, give, share, listen, love. We must not be selfish with our lives and with what Yahweh has given us. We are to avoid selfishness by being quick to see the needs and respond to those in need. Titus 3:13, bring Zenas the lawyer and Apollos in their journey diligently, that nothing be wanting unto them. And let ours also learn to maintain good works of necessary use, that they be not unfruitful. We avoid selfishness by doing good towards others in any form. When a distinguished foreigner paid his only visit to America in 1950, a committee of prominent Chicagoans lined up at the railroad station to offer official greetings, but the committee noticed that his eyes were not wholly fixed on them. Those penetrating eyes were wandering beyond the encircled committee. Seeing something on the station platform caught his eye in the crowd of travelers. With politeness but firmness, the man said to the committee, "Excuse-moi," and literally dashed past the receptionist. Diving into the crowd, he stopped beside an elderly woman who was staggering under her load of heavy suitcases and extra bundles. With his big, sensitive hands, he grabbed the old woman's suitcase and bundles and beckoned her to follow him. He threaded his way through all the people. He led the woman to the coach she wanted to take. He lifted her heavy suitcases in the overhead rack. Bowing with a courtly manner, wished her bon voyage. Then he rushed back to the astounded committee with apologies for keeping them waiting. This was the way Dr. Albert Schweitzer arrived in America. Did Albert Schweitzer know something that we don't? Did he have a heart within him that is different from ours or most of our generation? He's quoted as saying, life becomes harder for us when we live for others, but it also becomes richer and happier. Philippians 2:3, let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but of lowliness of mind let each esteem others better than themselves. Look not every man to his own things, but every man also on the things of others. We must avoid selfishness at all costs. In humility, we must serve one another as best we can in any form. You know, a man who was known for drinking liquor explained that he drank only to drown his troubles. And after you drowned them, why do you continue to drink, he was asked. Well, you don't know my troubles. My troubles are excellent swimmers. I try to drown them, but they swim right up again. Those troubles sound like sins that we have to deal with throughout life. 1 Corinthians 10:13. There has no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But Yahweh is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear it. Temptation to sin in various ways will always come our way. Temptations to do evil, to fight, to argue, to be selfish. There's only one escape. The Lord himself is our escape from sin and self. In order to avoid the evil pitfalls of this life, we must always look to Yahweh and his Son Yeshua and to his word. Psalms 119 says, Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. How can a young man keep himself pure? By living according to his word. This holds true for people of all ages, both male and female. Yahweh bless.